Hi, my name is Curnea Smith, and today I will be talking to you about Black culture and what it means to me. People like Angela Davis, the Black Panther Party, Rosa Parks, Martin Luther, E.B.D. Du Bois, Booker T. Washington, Emmett Till, George Floyd, all these different people influence my life every day. They made sacrifices so that young Black African American students and people like me can make a change and see another day and live another life and have a chance at the things that they didn't get to do in their lives. They walked so we can run. They did everything so that we would have a chance to live in a life and to be great. But today, for my project, I will be interviewing one of my family members, my auntie to be exact, and asking her a series of questions on how she feels on things in the Black community. And after our interview, I will share my thoughts as to how I feel and what I feel and why I feel.
Okay, question number one. We all know the purpose of civil rights was sought to integrate society. What does that mean to you?
Civil rights today and before I was born was created to allow people of color, African Americans, to have the same resources as far as education, employment, medical care as other people, and to be able to live amongst other people.
Okay, next question. How would your life be different if civil rights never happened?
I wouldn't have the resources I have now. I wouldn't even be able to bank. I wouldn't have decent employment, medical attention. It would be very difficult to receive medical attention.
Okay, next question. Um, why do you think people chose to fight with education and as well as in the streets, like both sides? What do you think about that?
History shows a lot of African Americans were responsible for a lot of the things that we have now, from peanut butter to street lights to light bulbs. So it was important to intellectually fight against systemic racism versus not versus, but you have to fight with both swords, both ends of the swords, intellectually and in the streets as far as protesting. So you know your laws, you're educated on the laws and your rights, what you actually have a right to.
Okay. How do you feel about the Emmett Till situation?
It's a horrible situation in our history. Um, he was very young, brutally murdered. It was very I want to say it was traumatizing to view the pictures, and I understand the mother's reasoning for allowing an open casket is because you had to see what was done to him unjustly. And what makes it worse is years later, the alleged victim confessed that she lied, and she wasn't brought to justice. So for all of these years, that mom had to live with no type of justice for the death of her son. It's very disheartening.
Okay, and final question is, how do you feel about the George Floyd situation as well?
It almost feels like our ancestors fighting was in vain to have to in 2020 or it happened in 2021 20 it happened in 2020 to experience, the cases like George Floyd, Trayvon Martin, um, Sandra Bland, unjustified murders of Black people, it's so disheartening, and it just feels like progress is not, it hasn't been made.
Now that the interview is over, I just want to share my thoughts. I honestly 100% agree with what my auntie said when it came to her questions at the interview. But I feel like as Black people, we need to be united and have one voice and not be so combative with each other. I also feel like Black people need education, but education is a resource and a resource of power that we don't really have access to. Some do and some don't. And I understand it as where you live at and being in urban cities. But I think education is power, and because white supremacy is still a thing, not all Black people have access to that one resource. I also feel like it hurts me when Black boys and Black men get wrongfully accused of a crime they didn't commit. I also feel like people like MLK, Rosa Parks, Booker T. Washington, people like those, people that walked so we could, people that run so we could walk, I'm sorry, did all these things, and I feel like it's in vain. But progress is progress, and hopefully, in a couple years, everything will be different. All you can do is really have hope. But I really enjoyed this class, even though it scratched the surface of history for Black Americans. I really enjoyed this class. I learned a lot. So thank you, Professor.